Hi everyone. So I'm delighted to speak to you all today on the Zenmaid Summit. Really excited to run through this presentation with you. So as you can see on the slide, I'm going to talk about Google Ads and how I used it within my own cleaning business to grow to 4 cities now. And as I said, I have my own cleaning business, but I also manage Google Ads campaigns for cleaning businesses all around the world through my agency, and it's called Project 83. So the details are down at the bottom. So in today's presentation, I'm going to run through the following things. Really, it's to give you a good summary, a good introduction to Google Ads and how we can use it specifically in the cleaning industry. So this will be really helpful for those of you that are new to Google Ads, as well as those of you that are running some campaigns at the moment. So to begin with, we're going to just talk about, introduce Google Ads, what it is, where it is, particularly on page 1 of Google. We'll introduce the broad approach, and I pick out some of the key things that we want to be focused on, as we're setting up the campaigns and as we're managing the campaigns, into the future. We'll then have a look at a simple campaign, a simple case study, and start to get you in the mindset of thinking in terms of how do we start to optimize our campaigns? How do we start to get ROI on our campaigns? So we'll have a look at a simple campaign. And then we close up the presentation. We run through the pros and cons of using a Google Ads Manager versus doing it yourself. And then finally, we'll look at Project 83 and the services that I offer. So just to give you a very brief introduction to me, my background in, my route into Google Ads management is not very typical because, I've come at it through having my own cleaning business. So my own cleaning business called Neat Services, we set up actually a similar time to when Amar set up Zenmaid. So it's probably around 8 or 9 years ago. It really is amazing how time has passed. So we're based in the UK, headquartered in London, in the capital, and we're in 4 of the largest cities in the country. So we have a really established business, and it's grown well. And as I said in bullet point 2, the 2 main marketing channels that we had most success with was Google Ads and SEO. So SEO, for those of you that don't know what it is a really important strategy that you want to be implementing in your business. But the issue with SEO is that things that you do today or optimizations that you do today, you might not get the benefits of that until 6, 12, 18 months down the line. You might not even see any benefit at all. Your actions might not have any impact. So SEO is important, and it was very important and continues to be important for our business. But we see it as like a long-term platform, in terms of acquiring traffic. But Google Ads is really, really effective if you're looking to get out of the gates. If you're a new business, and you're in the first few months, you want to get started, you want to get leads coming in, or as we found, as we were opening up locations 2, 3, and 4, in areas that we have no word of mouth referral, no existing brand, and Google Ads was really, really great way to basically get a short-term burst of jobs as and when we need. So our strategy really was that we created a strategy and a template within Google Ads that was working really, really well within our first location. And once we had that strategy and once we had that template, it was relatively simple just to copy and paste that to our new location. We obviously had to change things around keywords, around locations, things like that, but broadly the same template applied. And really this was what allowed us to very quickly add and launch new locations, because we had an established template for our home city. We could then just copy and paste that and roll that out to new locations. So Google Ads was by far the most effective way, more than Facebook ads, more than partnerships, more than offline flyers. all these things, we've tried them all. So Google Ads was really the most effective way to get us out of the blocks. So the cleaning company itself, when I set that up 8-9 years ago, I really wanted to create a business that would create flexibility. I had a young family at the time. I wanted to spend lots of time with them, so I wanted a business to grow and to earn income for me without having to require lots of my time. So I spent a lot of time around automation, creating processes, and really now have a great office management team that run the business for me. So, I only spend about a couple of hours a week on the business. So, the majority of my time now is spent on the Google Ads management side, and I also do some business coaching as well. So my Google Ads management business called Project 83, it really came about completely organically. The intention was never to set up a Google Ads agency after setting up my cleaning business, but it became apparent with chatting to other business owners in the various Facebook cleaning groups that I was getting some really good results with Google Ads, and we'd be chatting and people would be asking if I could have a look at their accounts, and that evolved to actually do you have time for me to manage those accounts for you. But obviously at the time when I was running neat day to day, I didn't have that time. But as I started to transition myself out of that business and free up more time, I had the time to take on and manage these accounts. And it was clear that there was quite a big demand from cleaning business owners for Google Ads management services. So that was when Project 83 was born. So as I said, Project 83, we are a Google Ads management agency. We work with cleaning businesses all around the world. People often ask me, Project 83, what's the why the name? So 83 is the $83,000 a month. Over the year, that gets you to $1 million. And that one of the things that when I was speaking to new business owners, asking them what they wanted to achieve, this $1 million, this 7 figures level, was often cited as one of the main goals for their business, and that's why they wanted to help, ask me to help with their Google Ads to try and give them that boost to that level. So that's the reason behind the name Project 83. But as I said, I work with cleaning businesses all around the world. Actually, I would say the majority is US and Canada. I also obviously work with cleaning business owners in the UK and Australia as well. But really, the reason why it's important to note that is that although I'm based in the UK, the way that clients search for cleaning services throughout the English-speaking world is pretty similar. So, the strategy that we use that got us lots of success in the UK, we can apply that in the US, we can apply that in Canada, we can apply that in Australia and get similar success with other cleaning business owners. And the reason for that is, as I said, people search in Google for cleaning services in a similar way. And with the way that Google Ads is set up, we can relatively easily apply a similar template, a similar approach, regardless of the location. So I'm based in the UK, but actually the majority of the cleaning businesses I work with are actually overseas. So as I said, my own cleaning business is basically runs on autopilot now. So my time mostly is split between Google Ads management, working with other cleaning business owners. And I also work on the clean and the business coaching side, predominantly on the systems and automation side of things. So that is what my work week looks like now. So I split my time between Project 83 and business coaching. So that's just a very quick background to me. I hope that's helpful. So we'll jump into Google Ads now, and really, what we have here is we've got a screenshot of page 1 on Google and what that typically looks like. So the first thing to say that page 1 is really the holy grail. If you can, as a cleaning business, can maximize your visibility on page one for a term like cleaning company Chicago, if you're a Chicago-based cleaning company, you will never have a marketing problem, really. This is where the majority of people, in my experience, will go to find cleaning companies, and this is where the highest converting traffic is. So, as I said, page one is changing all the time, but at the very top, this is where you'll find the Google Ads positions. So typically, someone types in cleaning company Chicago, the top 4 positions will all be Google Ads positions. And this has changed. Maybe 5 years ago, it may have only been 2 positions, or the top position was Google Ads. But Google is a for-profit business. They need to show their investors, the stock markets, that they are growing their profits, growing their businesses. So it's inevitable that the number of Google Ads, the Google Ads visibility on page one will increase, because obviously each time someone clicks on a Google ad, they are paid. Google is paid as a business. So we've gone from one, the top position being Google Ads, to the top 2, to the top 4 now. So Google Ads is really the majority of the top of page one when you do these searches. And it's important to know that as people, the percentage of searches on mobile is going up versus desktop and versus tablet, that because the screen on mobile is a lot smaller, a far greater percentage of that initial landing page for these terms will be Google Ads. So Google Ads is becoming more rather than less important as Google itself grows as a business, but as well as mobile becoming a more dominant platform for search. So Google Ads is at the very top, and in the middle of the page is a relatively recent introduction by Google. This is where your Google My Business profiles, your GMB profiles sit. And this is where you will create a profile, a Google My Business profile. You will tell Google where you're based, your location, what services you offer. And this is where you can get clients to leave reviews, ratings. And really, this is important because, if someone types in cleaning company Chicago, Google will look at the location of the person doing the search, and will look at the location of your office, or where your cleaning business is based. And if your business appears in these top 3, one of the most important parts will be the proximity of the searcher to your business location. It will also look at the number of ratings, the average rating as well. So this is a relatively recent introduction by Google, but it's still really important. As business owners, you want to be visible on Google Ads at the top, but you also want to be visible here. So you want to optimize your Google My Business profile and make sure that you're getting lots of consistent ratings and reviews to boost up your visibility in this middle section. And then at the bottom of the page, this is where your Google SEO rankings are. And it's fair to say that Google SEO is still really important. You do need to be investing in Google SEO, but it is less important than it used to be, even 5 years, certainly 10 years ago. And predominantly because what I said, at the start of this slide is that, the number 1 position of Google SEO used to be far higher up in page one. We didn't used to have this middle section, this GMB, Google Maps location. We didn't have 4 spots for Google Ads. Maybe it was 2 or 1. So it used to be the case. So to say that if you were a cleaning company based in Chicago and you were top ranked in SEO terms, that you were effectively made. You would get the vast majority of the traffic for people searching cleaning company. But as time has gone on and this ranking has dropped below the page, it has become less important as it once was. It's still important. And my view is that for business owners that are looking to build a sizable business, if you're looking to get to this 7-figure $1 million plus level, you want to be maximizing your visibility all on page one. You want to be doing Google Ads. You want to be maximizing your GMB profiles. You want to have an active SEO strategy, because if you're neglecting one of those, your visibility will be less. You'll be getting less traffic to your website. You'll be marketing and acquiring fewer clients. So your growth will come off, and it'll be harder to hit those 7-figure levels. So SEO is still important. It's less important as it was, but you want to be maximizing, you want to be visible across all these three sections on page one. So that's a brief introduction to Google Ads and where, how prominent it is on page one. So Google Ads can, for people that aren't familiar with the platform, it can be incredibly complex. I mean, one of the great things about Google Ads is there's so much data, so many different variables you can test, you can implement, and it's great in that respect. For someone new, it can be very, very overwhelming. So what I've done here is I've just tried to pick out, four of, I would say, the most important things to be focused on. This will hopefully just get you in the mindset of trying to pick out the key parts of Google Ads when you're running campaigns. So number one is the keyword level, and this is where everything really starts. So the keywords is when we are telling Google, if someone types in a phrase or a selection of words that contain these specific keywords, we want our advert to show up. So as an example, cleaning company Chicago, we can say to Google Ads, for this keyword, the keyword can actually be a group of words as well. So for this keyword, cleaning company Chicago, if someone types that in, we want our advert to show, because we think that someone typing that into Google represents someone who's looking for a cleaning service in Chicago, who's likely to want to get in touch with us and potentially convert to a client. So we like that as a keyword. The reality is that people search for keywords in so many different ways. Someone might type in cleaning company Chicago. Someone based in Chicago might type in cleaning services near me. Someone else might just type cleaners or cleaning services. So the way that there are numerous different ways and combinations of how people search for cleaning services, and we want to try to capture as many of those as possible. So this is where we are doing the initial keyword selection. We're telling Google these are the types of things that we want our adverts to show for. So this is where it all starts in Google Ads when you're creating your campaign. So that is really, really key and really, really critical. You don't want a too tight a selection that you're missing out on all these different variations. But on the other side, we don't want a numerous number of keywords that, many of which aren't targeted, many which won't be very highly converting to clients. And this is where we go on to this point, decide which searches you want to appear for and which you don't. And this is what the negative keyword lists are. So a negative keyword list is almost as important as as which keywords you're going after. Because the negative keywords are those words that you are telling Google Ads, if someone types in a phrase or words into the browser that contain this negative keyword, I don't want my advert to show up for. So a very simple example would be, say, cleaning jobs Chicago. Someone typing that into Google is likely to be a cleaner looking for work. And if we're running a campaign where we're looking for clients, that is going to be, an irrelevant search, really. If someone clicks on that, if someone types in cleaning job Chicago and clicks on our advert, that is a wasted click. So we want to be telling Google, if someone types in the phrase that contains job, we don't want our adverts to show. And this is one of many, many optimizations that happen in Google Ads. We're trying constantly to make sure our spend is most effectively used to try and minimize any waste. So building a negative keyword list as you're running campaigns is as important as having a sound and a tight keyword list to go after to begin with. But this is where everything starts. Number two is the customer value side. And this is potentially the most important part of this entire presentation. And this is really having a good understanding what your average lifetime value is for a new customer to your cleaning business. So many people will know what a lifetime value is, but many people, if you ask them for a specific dollar amount, a specific pound amount, they wouldn't know what an average client is worth to their business. And this is really where they fall down, because being in our industry, there are we are lucky that there are lots of many of our clients will be recurring in some nature. There will be we'll be cleaning for them every week, every 2 weeks, every month. So when we think about the value of that customer, or a typical customer to our business, we need to be looking at the entire period of time they're with our business. So if you are running a good standard, good quality business, and say in the residential cleaning space, you'd expect someone to stay with you for an average for 18 months, 2 years. And if they're spending, say, $100, $150 every week or every 2 weeks, that quickly adds up to a lot of money. So what we want to be doing is we want to look at all our weekly clients. We want to see what the average life, how long do they stay with us on average? How much do they spend with us each job? We want to be looking at the fortnightlies. We want to be looking at the monthlies, and we want to look at the one-offs. And we want to create a mathematical equation. We just want to take a simple average of that. And that will give you an average customer lifetime value as a number. So that is really, really important, because we need to know what a typical customer is worth. Because if we don't know that, if we are plowing money into Google Ads and we're not knowing, if we are making money or not, that is a really dangerous position to be in. And this is when people will start wasting money. They don't have an idea. They feel like Google Ads is working for them, or they feel it like it doesn't. That is the way to waste money. If you know that you are getting 2 times, 3 times your ROI, and that is very clear in your mind, that is the way that you will quickly grow a profitable ads campaign. So this is really, really important. If you haven't done that already, sit down and try and come up with at least a ballpark number for what that lifetime value is. So once you have that, then point 3, the lead tracking is really important, because as I said, if say you said that your average lifetime value for a customer across all your clients was, just to keep the maths very simple, say $500, and you were putting money into Google Ads, and you were finding that the average, the cost to bring on a new client was, say, $200. We put in 200, we get 500 out. You are making money from an ROI perspective. So this is where lead tracking is really important, because as important it is to know our lifetime value, we need to know what an accurate cost of client acquisition is. So we need to be tracking our leads, both for online inquiries. So if someone fills out an online form, we need to know each time that happens. But we also need to track phone calls, and what I find is that people will often track the online inquiries. They'll have a thank you page on the website, and you can drop some Google Ads code in there, and that will communicate to Google Ads each time an online form is submitted, and from someone clicking on a Google advert. But most people, I would say well over 90% of cleaning business owners that I speak to, will not have phone call tracking set up. And phone call tracking is really, really important even today. Many people say it's all about online booking, and the idea of someone filling out a form and booking online is great if you are wanting to create an automated business, very hands-off. But the reality is it's still close to 50-50. 50% of people who are wanting to book service will probably still want to pick up the phone and call you and ask questions and really build up that rapport, that trust, because ultimately they are trusting you in their home or in their office space. So we need to make sure that we're tracking phone calls as well, because if we're not, we are missing half the story. We're guessing. And as I said, if you are guessing in marketing terms, this is the way that you will waste money. This is the way that you will flush money down the toilet with Google Ads. So we need to make sure that we're tracking online inquiries and phone calls. And it is true that tracking calls, it requires a little bit extra work. There are lots and lots of phone tracking softwares out there in the market, and you will need to pay an small additional fee. It could be $20-30 a month, but this is really a drop in the ocean, because what you get from that is just a clarity and a very tight campaign. And this, if we have a very tight customer lifetime value, if we have very, very tight lead tracking, we know exactly to the dollar what the cost per lead is. it becomes a very, very simple mathematical equation. What are we putting in and what are we getting out? And this clarity in terms of your Google Ads campaign is the way that you will make money. So we've got that all in mind. And then the point 4 is really important, because the way to run a campaign profitably over the long term is to keep testing. Some people think that if you create if you create a campaign and you create keywords and you get that all set up, have a good negative keyword list, that you don't need to do anything. You just press launch, and it launches, and it will just churn off leads to your business. So this is the way not to run a campaign. The way that I often tell people is you should think of creating a good campaign and good adverts and selecting your keywords and negative keywords at the beginning as getting to the final of the 100 meters. You've had to go through all the heats to get there. Congratulations, you've now got to the start gate of the final of the 100 meters. But now you need to run the race. You need to get to the end of the race and to get that gold medal. And this is where the testing is really comes in, because you create the campaign, then you need to let it run. You need to test one thing against another. You need to test one advert versus another. You need to track the performance of one keyword versus another. You need to take out negative keywords. So you need to be doing all these things to make sure that you get to the end of the race and win that gold medal. So testing is imperative, and this is one of the key things. When you're running an account, particularly over multiple months, multiple years, this is what you need to be constantly doing. You can't just let it go and expect to get good results over time, because your account will just die and the performance will come off. So hopefully that's helpful, just to pick out a few of the key parts of, in my view, some of the most important parts of running a Google Ads campaign. So in this slide and the next slide, we're just going to have a look at a very simple case study. We are hopefully this will get you into the mindset of starting to think about how Google Ads works, and get your creative juices running in terms of thinking about what are the things that we need to be thinking about to really start optimizing. So we've got a house cleaning company in Chicago. We've just set up our first Google Ads campaign, and we've hit launch. So what will happen is, you've told Google these are the keywords we're going after, these are the adverts we want our ads to show when these searches happen. And what you'll find is, over the next few days, you'll start to get some people clicking. And when you look into what's called the Google Search Terms Report, it allows you to see exactly what people have searched for in their Google browser, and your advert has shown for and being clicked on. So, this would be a very typical, for someone who's new to Google Ads, these are the types of searches that might come up. So I'm just asking the question here, we've set our campaign, which do we think is best? So very quickly running through these. Number 1, someone types in cleaning services. So yeah, that seems fairly relevant. Number 2, house cleaning jobs. So jobs, as we said in the previous slides, is someone that is likely to be looking for work. So straight away, this jumps out as probably a search that we want to be excluding, making sure that we don't show for. Number 3, best cleaning company, Chicago. So, in my experience, these are the best searches where you have the service plus the location. They tend to be most highly converting. So number 3 looks like a good one. Number 4, office cleaner near me. So they are looking for cleaning services, but it's office cleaning. We're a house cleaning company. So again, this is something that we want to be excluding. Someone clicks on our advert having searched for office cleaner near me, they're less likely to convert. So we want to reduce that wasted spend. And then number 5, Molly Maid, obviously the name of a cleaning franchise, Molly Maid Chicago. This is related, and another type of search that we might come across. So this would be very sort of typical, as I said, me having the experience of my own cleaning business and managing Google Ads campaigns for lots and lots of cleaning companies, I will have already eliminated a lot of these negative keywords out already. But for someone who's new to it, this would be very typical of the types of things. So which Google search do we think is best? So the answer is, it depends. And this is really where Google Ads starts to get more complicated. So, just quickly going back to the last one, we can tell, when we see these search terms to begin with, we can say which ones we like the look of, which ones we don't. So, as I was going through, the jobs one is one that we is less interested. The office cleaner one is one that we're less interested in. So, as an example, why don't we go through the thought process of saying, do we prefer cleaning services or best cleaning company Chicago as a search? So the first thing to note is that we need to understand that each keyword is an auction process. So there will be lots of cleaning companies in your area that will say, yes, we really like this keyword. We like it more than the other one, so we're willing to pay more for a click from that keyword than another one. And it's completely a demand supply auction process. So, for the example of cleaning services and best cleaning company Chicago, let's say that cleaning services were paying $1 a click. The reality is it will be a lot more, but say $1 a click. And then for best cleaning company Chicago, we're saying we're $2. So thinking about it purely in terms of the cost per click, we're paying twice the amount of money for best cleaning company Chicago. So if everything else was even and someone clicking on each of those adverts had an equal chance of converting and filling out an online form or calling us, we would then say, yes, the cleaning services is cheaper. So that's a more interesting keyword. We would prefer to spend more money on that cheaper cost per click keyword. But as I said, this is where Google Ads starts to get complicated, because once we have, we get differing cost per clicks, but we also get a differing conversion rate. So what we mean by that is, say the cleaning services keyword, say that is a 20% lead conversion rate. So what I mean by that is that for every 5 ad clicks, every time someone clicks on our advert 5 times, one person will pick up the phone and call us, or one person will fill out an online form. The conversion rates per keyword will all be different. And this is what I was saying, for best cleaning company Chicago, often when you have the location included in that search, so the service plus the location, then they tend to be higher converting keywords. So it's unlikely we'll be at 50%, and actually 20% is a pretty good number. It could be 25%. But again, let's just keep the math simple here. So say 50% conversion rate for best cleaning company Chicago. So every time someone clicks on our ad 2 times, we get 1 advert. One lead coming from that. So 1 online form submission, 1 phone call. So we take these 2 items here, and then we calculate what the cost per lead is. So we need to, with cleaning services, we need 5 ad clicks at $1 a click to get 1 lead. So that cost per lead will be $5. With best cleaning company Chicago, the cost per click is higher, but we're converting 1 in every 2. So our cost per lead for cleaning company Chicago is $4. So what we can see in this very simple example is that our cost per lead for best cleaning company Chicago is actually lower than cleaning services. And if we were just purely looking at the cost per click, that might be something that would be surprising. But really, we want to be looking at the cost per lead. So in this example, best cleaning company Chicago is a more interesting, a more attractive keyword than cleaning services. So we want to be channeling more of our money into this lower cost per lead keyword than the higher one, which was cleaning services. So as you can see, this is where the data starts becoming more important. And this is where conversion tracking is absolutely critical, because if there's any ambiguity in these numbers, if we're not tracking phone calls, for example, or if we're not correctly tracking our online form submissions, these numbers will be guesswork, and you could think that you're running a profitable campaign, but actually you're running a loss-making campaign because these numbers are inaccurate. So as I said, this is where things start to get complicated. And these numbers aren't static either. These will change week on week. And this is why we need to be constantly reviewing our campaigns, constantly keeping on top of things. And you may find, for example, that Best Cleaning Company Chicago, the conversion rate is going down from 50 to 10% for 1 week, or your cost per click is going from £2 to £3. We need to be aware of what this means for our cost per leads and our ROI. So this is where conversion tracking is really key. So hopefully I've not lost too many of you in this. This is really where we start to get in the mindset of how we run campaigns. But as you can see, it can get very complicated, particularly for those of you that are new to the process. But saying that, if you have a watertight lead tracking on your campaigns, and you know what your lifetime value is, then you have a big clear advantage against the vast majority of people in this industry that don't know this. Because if you are sure that you are getting $2 out for every $1 you're putting into Google Ads, you want to be maximizing, you want to be putting as much money into it as possible. So you want to be taking advantage of these people that don't have that clarity. So in this slide, just wanted to cover off, a few of the points when you are thinking, and I was obviously in this exact position when I was, running my own cleaning businesses. I used agencies before. I used it myself, and over the recent years, I obviously took it all in house and completely managed Google Ads campaigns for our own cleaning business myself. But there are various things that you want to be thinking about when you are deciding whether to use a Google Ads manager or to do it yourself. And number one is really where I started off. The I've tried but failed comment is very, very common. As I said, Google Ads can be very, very complicated for those of you that are very new to it. So, you may have put a few $100s into it. Or you may not be sure where to start, but using a specialist, using an agency can really help get you at the curve. You can work with that agency, ask them questions about why they've set things up in a certain way, or why they've changed it, or you can use them as a way to improve your knowledge of that. So you can improve your knowledge as well as reducing any wasted spend, because as I said, Google makes it incredibly easy to waste money if you don't know what you're doing. So Google Ads, working with the Google Ads manager can be really effective because it can reduce that wasted spend, and you can improve your knowledge as well. Obviously, there is a management fee for using people like that, but you want to be weighing those pros and cons up as well. And point two is really a really important one, particularly for those of you that may be already running Google Ads campaigns, because as I said earlier in this presentation, having an understanding what your lifetime value is really important. And we're lucky in this industry that a large proportion of our clients will likely be recurring. There'll be weeklies, fortnightlies, and as I said here, particularly in the residential cleaning space, a typical recurring client can be with you 18 months, 2 years. And if they're spending, $100, $150 a time every week or 2 weeks, this can quickly add up. So the reality is that, recurring clients are far more valuable than one-off clients in that regard. So here, what I'm saying is that, you want to be thinking, if I use an agency, is the agency bringing me more revenue, more clients than if I was doing it myself? And is the additional revenue that they're bringing me worth the management fee that I'm having to pay them? And one of the ways to really make it very simple, as I said, the value of a recurring client is far in excess of one-offs. So if you if your agency is bringing you just one extra recurring client a month, it is likely that it far exceeds any management fee that you're having to pay for them. So this can make things very, very simple for you. So, you could say, doing it myself and spending X $1,000s a month on Google Ads, I was getting, say, 10 recurring clients a month. Okay, I'm going to test out this Google Ads Manager. And they are bringing me 15 recurring clients. So the difference is they're bringing me 5 extra recurring clients. That the lifetime value of those 5 clients is $3,000 a time. Is that $15,000 that they're bringing me? How does that compare to the management fee that I'm having to pay them? And the reality is that that will far exceed any management fee for any Google Ads management company. So this is a really easy way to think about it, and you should think about it. If they're even bringing you even one additional new recurring client a month, it's likely to be a no-brainer in terms of what they're bringing you versus the cost of the management fee. And there's obviously the final point to make as well, that there will be time savings benefits as well. So you won't need to be doing it. You won't need to be spending time out of your day to run these campaigns. So there is also the additional benefit of saving that time as well. So in this final slide, I just wanted to talk through our services at Project 83. So as I said, we're a Google Ads management company. So if you are interested in us managing the campaigns for you, we basically set our fees in the following way. So we charge a one-off setup fee at the beginning to set up all your campaigns, and then we charge a monthly management fee to manage the campaigns on an ongoing basis. And the fees themselves depend on how much you're spending through the Google Ads platform. So obviously, if you have a much larger account and you're spending lots more money, and maybe you're in multiple locations, it will mean that there's more of my time that's needed to manage and optimize those accounts. So the fee for managing those types of accounts will be higher. So it really depends on the monthly ad spend. That's the primary driver of that. So the setup fee, just to give you an idea of what's involved, is if you were to give me the green light to set up the campaigns for you. So we go into Google Ads, the dashboard, create your campaigns. We download all the keywords, the initial group of keywords that are most highly converting in our experience. We create the ad copy. We upload a negative keyword list. It's actually about 5,000-6,000 words long. So that in itself is worth many thousands of dollars to you before you even start. So we create the campaigns in Google Ads, and then we make sure that all the lead tracking is going through correctly. So we use a landing page template for all our clients. So this landing page is optimized to get phone calls, to get leads, to get online form submissions from the ads traffic. So it's one of those things that the reality is you shouldn't be driving cold ad traffic to your homepage. It's much better, and you'll get a much higher conversion rate if you're using a dedicated landing page. And that's what we use. So we create your landing page template, and then once that's created, we make sure that all the lead tracking is really tight. So Google Ads is tracking all the online form submissions, it's tracking all the phone call tracking. So all the costs involved with using those softwares are included in the management fee. So that's the setup fee. That's what needs to get set up before we actually launch the campaigns. And then the monthly fee is really this ongoing testing and iteration element that I talked about earlier in the presentation. So we are testing lots of things. We're tracking which keywords are performing, what the cost per leads are, what the conversion rates are. Do we need to put more money into the higher performers? We want to be making sure that our negative keyword lists are building, and that gives us greater protection and minimizes wasted spend. So there are numerous things that we test and iterate on an ongoing basis. So this is really what is covered by the monthly management fee. So if you guys have got any questions, you want to have a quick talk about your account, if you want me to manage it for you, want an idea of pricing, just contact me at that email address, hello@project83.co.uk. The website, if you want some further information, is obviously just www.project83.co.uk. But anyway, I hope this presentation has been helpful, and I look forward to hearing from you soon. Thanks.